Hi Stampers! Today I'm going to give you a little 411 on our ink pads from Stampin' Up. This is our classic ink pad and the craft ink pad. I've had a few girls ask me what is the difference between the two ink pads. The classic ink pad is a dye base and the craft ink is a pigment base. Now the dye ink dries faster when you use it, like on your cardstock and stuff. It dries really fast. And the pigment ink, which is the craft ink, it takes longer to dry. It's a wetter ink. Now this is how the ink pads come from Stampin' Up. And when they design the ink pad, it's already upside down. So when you're ready to use your ink pad, it's been stored upside down so all the ink goes right to the surface. So it's really nice to use. And then they also sell the coordinating reinkers. Now to reink your ink pad, all I do is just take the reinker and you're just going to squeeze it onto your ink pad. And I like doing it both ways. But you can also use the reinker for coloring ribbon, the polished stone technique. And what I also like to do is take a little bit of reinker and put it into the bottom of my ink pad. Just squeeze a couple drops. And then I can use my blender pen and the watercolored brush and just pick up the color from that and use it on my projects too that way. So whenever you're buying the ink pad, I always recommend you buy the refill to go with it too, because it's nice to have on hand. And we also sell all the color groups too in all the ink pads, so it saves you a little bit of money. And then the craft ink is a wetter ink. Now this, you can also emboss with this ink along with the Versamark. Now the Versamark is a pigment ink too. It stays wet for a long time, so you can emboss. You can do the pop and pastels technique with it. Now also with the craft ink, you can stamp on wood and you can also stamp on walls. I actually have a friend that stamped her kitchen with the craft ink. It looks really nice. You can also stamp with the pigment ink, the craft ink, on porcelain, glass, tiles, stuff like that. But the only thing is when you use them on those type of products, you'll have to emboss with it because it won't dry on those type of items. And then the StazOn. Now these two types of ink pads I do store upside down, so the ink stays at the surface because they're not made like the Stampin' Up ink pads. But the StazOn is nice for watercoloring because it doesn't smear. And that's what that looks like. It's a really nice black. Is probably most used by me as far as for my images and stuff on my projects. So, but that's it. That's the 411 on the two different types of inks, the classic and the craft. Hope that helped. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you later. Bye!